Hi sweeties, today we're going to be learning about making my pancakes. This is a kind of a West Indian recipe. I say kind of because somebody West Indian is going to be watching this and go like, we don't make that like this in our country. But okay, what I'm saying is that I've learnt this from my family. My family obviously have a West Indian background and West Indian influences, so I've not seen any other recipes similar to this. I suppose it's kind of similar to American pancakes, but again, the flavour isn't the same. Most American pancakes and crepes and things like that, they have a very neutral taste, which is absolutely fine. I suppose then it means you could use sweet or savoury, but for these, they are sweet pancakes. I mean, you could probably have them with bacon if you wanted something like that. Some people like bacon and syrup, but you know, it's up to you. So this is my recipe. When I used to do lots of baking when I was little, when I was growing up, my favourite two recipes I used to just go off and make on my own in the 70s when nobody gave a damn if a kid was doing the cooker aged 7. I like to make pancakes. And I honed this recipe when I was just a child, and this turned out to be the pancake recipe I like the most. So this is my very old recipe that I'm sharing with you now. So just pop the flour in. Pop in sugar. I know that's not normally in pancakes, but isn't this one? I've always used Demerara because that's the sugar we always used to have around the house, and it's slightly less sweet than caster. So if you're using caster sugar, I'd say probably a little less. I'll put that in the description with the recipe stuff, sorry, the ingredients and the instructions and all that. Just give it a mix with the flour and then cinnamon. Seems like a lot of cinnamon, but it really makes a lovely flavour to the pancakes. They are cinnamon pancakes after all. So just mix that all in, and now it's just the wet stuff. So I would mix the milk. Actually, no, I wouldn't mix the milk. I was going to say mix the milk in. I'll mix a bit of the milk in because I don't always use all the milk. I mean, admittedly, this is all a recipe that I've measured out for you, so it should technically work. But I make this without using any measurements since I've done it for so long. So this is kind of alien to me, using stuff that's pre-measured out. I did measure out the recipe specifically for the internet, so it will work. But I'm used to just kind of plopping this in and plopping that in, and it's just like, yeah, it's ready. So yes, I was right, measured it out correctly. I'm just going to put in the milk. Now I put it in bit by bit. I don't know if you noticed that when I was yakking away, because you don't want it to be lumpy. So hard. Give it a bit of a beat there. And so there are no lumps in this really. It's just, you know, and if there are a couple of lumps, it should be fine. It's not the end of the world. It's quite a thick pancake mix. It's not like a crepe that you're going to be able to make super thin. That's why I said it's kind of like American pancakes, because they are quite thick and fluffy, as is, oh, she says splashing it all over her face. That will happen. Wow, that went everywhere. Never mind. These things happen. Right, let's get back to being a bit more careful, shall we? I normally make it in a jug as well. I'm doing it in a bowl so you can hopefully see a little bit more as it goes along. There we go, last of the milk. Oh, now, this is another thing I was going to say to you. I've used soya milk. So this works very well as a dairy-free recipe. Soya milk, almond milk, hazelnut milk, coconut milk, whatever you fancy. And this is the kind of consistency, a real proper batter. It's not like, as I said, not like a thin crepe that's really easy to pour. Nearly forgot the most important thing, vanilla. So, if I could get that open, arthritic hands. Pop in generous slosh. I love these to be vanilla-y. So I'm really quite generous with the vanilla. It's, again, a personal thing. If you just want a little dab of vanilla, then go for it. If you like me, I love the smell of vanilla. God, that smells amazing. Then go on and chuck a load in. There we go. So there we go. Nice, thick mix, but just perfect. Now I'm going to put it in the jug because it just makes life easier for me when I go to pop it into the frying pan, because then I could just pour it in. And I'm using, my pan I'm using is my little egg poaching pan. It's got a sort of cover on it that you, has these little egg cup things in there. Oh, am I going to knock that over? Yes, I am. Sorry about that. Right. Now I've made enough mess and complete utter carnage. So yeah, this is my little pan. Normally has a lid in and has these little egg cups in, and then you pour the egg in and it poaches it for you nice and neatly. Because I don't like all the stringy bits when you do an egg poaching normal way, because I'm a bit weird. But anyway, I find it's just the right size for the pancakes because I can make it go all around the bottom and it makes the most gorgeous circle. So you don't have to do this if you have a bigger saucepan and the pans all come out like, you know, a map of the British Isles or something. That's fine. They taste great, and that is the bottom line with all these things, the flavour. So I haven't made them on this before, on this hob. Normally make them at the one obviously in the kitchen, but the kitchen is just not suitable for filming. It's a very strange thin shape and you wouldn't be able to see anything if I cooked in there. So this is why we brought it out here. So fingers crossed, like they say, pancakes are like kids. The first one's always a bit weird. So I'm gonna hope that the first one comes out okay, but if it doesn't, don't worry about it. At least you know, if we're all human. For greasing the pan, I always like to put a little bit of oil in a bowl, scrunch up some kitchen towel, and then I shove it in, scrape it off for the first one, and then I just wipe in the pan. Now that looks like a lot of oil in the pan, but as time goes on, the oil sort of, actually I've probably put enough tissue in here, the oil soaks up into the tissue, and then when you next do it, it just sort of gives a light coating actually. The first one's always a bit more because obviously the oil hasn't heated up and the pan hasn't really heated up as well. So there we go, that's more like it. I don't know if you can see the level of oil that's on there, but it's just a light coating, but it works well. And I keep it in there, and every time I let go to grease it, I'll pick that up and just rub it around the pan. Be very careful, because obviously you can burn yourself. I know I have asbestos hands, I know I always burn myself, but I have been making these for 30, 40 years, so I'm kind of used to this. But, you know, that's the way I do it. It's a big blob of oil there. So now I'm going to get my mix, which is starting to thicken up quite a bit. So I'm hoping, yes, you can't hear this probably, but there is a sizzly noise. You can see how much I put in there. This is going to drip. There we go. And then I just move it around the pan. It's a very slow mix because it's quite thick. And then pop it back on the heat. This probably needs to be a little bit hotter. You've got to find the sweet spot on your hob. Too hot and it'll make the underneath cook far too quickly, and you'll have, if you flip it over too soon, you'll have raw pancakes, which my husband sometimes has a problem with. He's really mad for heat. But too low and it'll, you know, take ages, which is probably best to have it too low and then think, hang on a second, where's this going? But what you're looking for is when the pancake is in the pan, you will start to see bubbles appearing. That's great. What you need to look for is when the bubbles appear, they'll start to get bigger and bigger and then they'll pop. Again, that's fine. What you're waiting for is when they pop and they stay open. They don't fill up with pancake mix again. So it's kind of almost like a crumpet, but a crumpet would be far too gone. If you got to crumpet stage where it's like loads of holes on the top, then guaranteed underneath will be totally overdone. But I'm just waiting for it to cook through. It takes a while. Pancakes, these pancakes aren't like, well, they're not as super speedy. I don't think this video is going to be that long, but you know, you'll get an idea of how it goes. Again, as I said, this hob is new, so I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just going to have a look at the bottom because I just want to make sure I haven't. Nope, it's a beautiful colour underneath. That is lovely underneath. So it seemed to have got, oh, I found the right spot. It's like a shower, this thing. You know, it's like a little too hot, a little too cold. This is the same, this hob thing that I've got here. It's just kind of like alchemy. So I don't know if you can see that, the bubbles in the pancake, some are starting to open and not close, and there's really, really big ones. That's the sweet spot you need for this. So it's curled under a bit because I turned it over. So when you go to do this, you'll notice that it doesn't run, and then just flip it over, and that's it. See the perfect colour? That's superb. So just moving that now. So this is how it goes. And it's now just beginning to cook underneath. It's nice and puffy. I didn't really count the time of how long it will be, but you can probably guess from if you look on the YouTube timer, how long it's been cooking on the sweet spot on this. On the hob, our hob number goes up to, I think, 9. I probably put it about a 6 for these kind of pancakes. So it is quite warm, but not burning warm, because you want this colour. I can't believe it's worked this well on camera. This is a miracle. Because even when I do it normally from now, the first one, it's like, oh, bit too much oil, or didn't get the hob quite right. But this is just perfect, so meant to be. So you just need to let it, because we let the bubbles come up, that meant most of the pancake was cooked through, and you were just getting the surface was, because they open and they don't close in, was saying that there's not enough batter to close back into the hole. So that's saying that the batter underneath has really started to cook. And when the bubbles popped, it's just like, well, the batter's already cooked, so there's nowhere for it to go. So this is why the other side is just right to flip over. And also you'll find if you do it that way, you stand less chance of, when you're flipping it over, if batter starts running off, when you scoop it and you do that and the batter starts to run, it's probably not at the right point, and you should probably turn the heat down and cook it a little slower, because the whole point of this is when it gets to that point where you've got the little holes and the little bubbles have popped, it's set enough that when you scoop it and give it a quick flip, nothing should run. So that's a tip for you to understand when this is done. And I think we are in business. So there you go. There's the first one. I shall just show you. It's a little bit curled because I just had to check if I was on the right heat for the first one. But you can see it's a gorgeous colour, beautiful golden, you know, and it's probably brown because it had cooked through so much on the underside. I probably left it too long on this side, so it would be a lighter colour. It should be sort of more that colour, maybe a little bit browner. But that's it. So I'll show you what I do with the oil. Now this is at the temperature, just to rub around. And because this is hot now, all the oil's kind of like, oh, I've probably got a little bit too much in there actually. You can use a little less than that if you want to. So I'll just do the next one. Just a little sizzle in there. Oh, get the drips, get the drips. I normally have a spoon for this, but I forgot to bring it out, clever me. And just, for this particular pan, it's so nice and easy because it's got a small circle at the bottom. I can just aim the pancake mix to the edges, and I know that they're all going to come out a similar size, which is great because then you stack them up and they look really pretty. So the same thing we do with this one. We just let it cook, wait for the bubbles to come up. And what I will do is, since you saw how long it was to cook the other one, I will go away and then come back when this has popped again, just to remind you of the level to get it to. Okay, and now we're back. I think this is actually getting quite brown. You can tell from the edges are starting to get a very dark brown. So this might be done more than the other one, but you can see how the bubbles have popped and are leaving great big gaps where the batter is just set, so it's not going to fall into it. So this is the perfect time to just get this and flip it over, and there we have it. Ideal, perfect, easy as pie, easy as pancake. And that's about it really. So I'm going to carry on doing these until I've got a great big plate full, and then give them to the family. I will show them to you again at the end when they're in a big pile. And so you don't have to watch me do all the pancakes. I shall zoom through the rest of it and then see you when they are completed. See you in a mo. Just coming back for a second, just to want to show you, that was the colour of the other side of the pancake. So the first one is a bit weird, but still not too bad. So that was the main side, and then, oh, it's so hot. That was the other side. So it's a beautiful colour. So I have got the sweet spot on the hob. So pleased. So yeah, I'm going to go back and do the rest of them now, and I'll see you in a bit. And welcome back. Just finished the last one. So how many do we get? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of these beauties. Look at those. They are thick, they are delicious. They can be eaten on their own if you really want to, because there's a little bit of Demerara sugar in there that just makes them fine. Our family usually has them either with syrup or seedless raspberry jam is another huge favourite here. Also bananas, sliced bananas with caramel sauce and a little squid of cream Don't forget golden syrup and ice cream as well. I mean, pretty much anything you like. It's perfect for pancake day. Perfect for any day. They are great for if you have some left over. You could always just heat them up in the microwave for a few seconds, and then they're absolutely fabulous again. Freeze them and then give them a bit of a microwave, maybe on a piece of tissue, on some kitchen towel. They are so flexible, so easy, so tasty, and just one of the family's favourites. So, enjoy, have fun, and just let me know how it goes for you. And thank you again for watching my pancake recipe. See you again soon. Take care. Bye.